Oh, hi. This isn't what it looks like. Okay, maybe it's exactly what it looks like. I've been locked in this cupboard for months, maybe a year. The last thing I did while I was out was I made a video about how I was turning 21, and now I'm turning 22. Man, this year sucked. You ever lived a whole year inside a cupboard? I don't recommend it. So how yours year's going? Cause mine's off to a ripper of a start. I've been trapped in a cupboard. Yeah, I gotta say, my mental health isn't doing so great, being trapped and all. But at least I'm seeing someone now. She's lovely. We're working through it. There are days where it really doesn't feel like I'll ever get out. And other days where I do think that I can. Well, on the job front, gotta say, nothing much has changed. Which just sucks, honestly. But hey, you can't exactly go to a job interview when you're stuck in a cupboard, so. I can't dwell on the negatives, because if I do, things will never get better. They'll never get better. And you know, it hasn't all been doom and gloom. I did some great things in the period between now and then, as great as you can do in a cupboard. So yeah, why don't I talk about some of my favorite things this year so far? Really was that easy, huh? First of all, let's talk about Dune 2. The Blu-ray hasn't come out yet. When I saw Dune Part 1 for the first time, I had no idea about anything to do with Dune, its universe, its characters, whatever. I left that theater feeling like I had witnessed an event in cinema, the likes of which we haven't seen since The Lord of the Rings, back when I was, you know, a fetus. And now we have Dune Part 2, which did the same thing again. The filmmaking is just off the charts. The arena on Gaiety Prime. Oh, it's beautiful. And the fact that they've reopened the IMAX in Sydney just means that I get to go see it in IMAX, and that's awesome. The sheer scale of it all is... that's what cinema's about. Second thing I want to talk about is Pluto. This is a murder mystery where everyone who's dying is a robot. If that's not enough to make you want to watch this, we're not the same person. Pluto is so beautifully animated to start with. And I just love spending time with Gazette. He's such a cool character. He's like that gruff sort of noirish detective sort of guy, but he has such a heart to him. And you can't help it but fall in love with him, and you want him to find out who's been committing all these murders. It's also, you know, about what being a human means, about emotions, about hatred. It's about sentient robots built specifically to fight in war. Why would you build a robot that can feel pain and then force it to go to war? And then why would you give that same robot tear ducts so that it can cry when it feels sad that all its friends are dead? It's a murder mystery. I'm trying to talk around the murder mystery as much as possible, even though I want to scream and shout about the twists, because there was one twist that literally made me jump off my couch and start dancing around the room, because I was like, oh my god, how did they get away with that? That's so cool. I have put over 50 hours into Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and I have not finished my first playthrough yet. This is a huge game that I'm enjoying pretty much every second of, except for the stupid mushroom minigame. I hated that so much. The story is great. It's about eco-terrorists and industry and capitalism and what we owe our planet, and I find that really fascinating. Particularly since you're playing as the eco-terrorists, and I don't always agree with them, and that's a good thing. I have so many words for this game, but again, I'm still about 30 hours away from finishing it, so I'll get back to you sometime in the next month when I've pulled like 3 all-nighters to finish this, because it is worth it. I'm not going to do that. Stop worrying. It's fine. Chain Gang All-Stars is a sci-fi book set in the near future. I can't remember the exact date. It feels just enough like our world to make all the events that happen in it feel real enough that they could be coming in the near future. And that should terrify you, because this is a book about prisoners playing death sports to potentially get released from prison. The way that this book critiques the prison system, the police, the military, the government, is fascinating. I have never read a book that is anything like this before. The way this book uses footnotes blew me away. I love the way this uses footnotes. Sometimes, you know, the footnote will be a fun fact that is horrifying, and that's also awesome. This book is very much US based, but it still gives you a lot of food for thought. It is one of the best books I've ever read. Possibly even the best book I have ever read. This could be the best book I've ever read. It's like 20 bucks. Or go to a library. Please, I implore you, read this book. It's so good. Murray Street Ice Creamery Banoffee flavor is a great ice cream. It's usually on sale for about $6 at Coles. What do you want from me? It's ice cream. It doesn't have any complex themes for me to wildly kind of discuss. It's delicious. I'm gonna go eat some now. The final thing I want to talk about is Neon Genesis Evangelion. On its surface, this is a story about teenagers using giant robots to fight aliens. They're called angels. There are huge religious undertones in this show, and it's awesome. The angels explode into big, like, crucifix looking shapes when they die. The actual sci-fi of it can get quite complex, so I'm not going to dive too deep into it here. But it's a story about religion. It's about the patriarchy. It's about depression. It's about the cycles that we get trapped in, and it asks whether we can overcome them. And then, you know, a giant mech punches an alien in the face, or shoots them with a giant sniper gun the size of the Sydney Harbour Bridge. That's just a cool... I'd like to read you an excerpt of an article by Film Crit Hulk, listed on Polygon, an article that I read after this. I watched the series, because it's incredible. Every human being ultimately has to face that which they are not good at. They'll have to face true failure and loss when there is no immediate or obvious way to deal with it. They'll have to face a moment where all their coping mechanisms are worthless. They'll have to face the stark reality of the demons that they've been running from. But we can't run from demons, because they're always locked inside us. There is nowhere to run. But that's just living. Like all great works about depression, Neon Genesis Evangelion understands that in a world gone mad, sometimes the most Herculean thing a person can do is find the courage to put one foot in front of the other. Sometimes there is nothing more brave. Take your step. After everything I've gone through in the last year, that really resonated with me. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep taking that step forward. It won't be easy, but it's all I've got right now. Well, thanks for watching. I guess I better get back in the cupboard. The door's locked, by the way, so I'm not going to be able to get out that way. And I mean, at least the cupboard's warm and has Wi-Fi in it. So hang on, if I'm in here, who's that guy? Who's the jerk you've all been talking to? Because that's not me. You gotta promise me. Promise me that you will not trust him. He's not me. He's a skinwalker or something. You can't trust whatever he says. Please. My birthday wish to you. Don't trust that doppelganger. Whatever's going on out there, he's probably the one that put me in the cupboard. Please. For me. Wait, what are you doing? No, stop.